the priority is to repeal this health care law. It's bad for patients, bad for the providers, the nurses and doctors who take care of them, and terrible for taxpayers. We are going to put on the president's desk, at a minimum, stripping away the most damaging parts of the health care law.
Obamacare is a leading item for Republicans as they take control of both chambers of Congress. But will the incoming lawmakers actually deliver what they promised during that campaign? My next guest is a member of that freshman class, Republican Senator-elect Thom Tillis out of North Carolina, and you have made it to Washington. Congratulations, and thank you for your time today, sir. And
good morning, Bill. Happy New Year.
You talk about Obamacare as a disaster during your campaign, a successful one against Kay Hagan. You said it's time to clean up this mess. What are you going to do to clean it up?
Well, first, you heard Senator Barrasso, who's also a physician. He understands the damaging effects that the Affordable Care Act have had on Americans and on businesses. We have to repeal at least the most onerous portions if we can't repeal it outright.
What are the most onerous portions? According to Barrasso, he said we're going to strip away the most damaging parts of the health care law. What are the most damaging parts of the law?
If you take a look at what businesses are doing to react to the regulations, going from a 40-hour work week to a 29-hour work week, let's get rid of that so that we change some of the requirements of Obamacare for coverage. If we do those kinds of things, then I think we can at least remove a lot of the disruptions to businesses. But make no mistake about it, the overarching plan is a bureaucratic nightmare, and a lot of the fiscal implications have yet to come. It's $1 trillion added to our debt when we're already over $18 trillion in debt. So we'll have to do it systematically because we'll need to get Democratic support to do it. We need to go center-right on this issue and get as much Democrat support as we can, and I believe that we can do that.
Any chance that overrides a veto?
I hope that the president will recognize in retrospect, now that they've read the bill and they understand what's in it, that there are a number of things they should have never passed into law and not necessarily get to the point to where we need a veto. I do think that we'll have sufficient votes to send something to the president's desk fairly soon.
Whether it's Obamacare or immigration or jobs in the economy or the Keystone Pipeline, I mean, there's plenty to shoot at the moment. This is what John Boehner and Mitch McConnell wrote right before Christmas, and this is what they want to remind Americans about. A renewed effort to debate and vote on the many bills that passed the Republican-led House in recent years with bipartisan support, but were never even brought to a vote by the Democratic Senate majority. Now you have a whole new reality in the U.S. Senate. What will you do with it?
Well, I think what you're going to see is that Leader McConnell is going to reestablish regular order. We're going to take up a lot of those bills, dozens of which had strong bipartisan support, and start sending legislation to the president's desk. When the American people voted for Republican majorities in November, they really voted for people who are going to go up there and start working again, get to a 5-day work week here, start sending legislation to the president's desk, and get the economy back to a sustained recovery versus this limping along that we've been doing for the past several years.
You're already taking shots from the right. From the Tea Party, Ken Cuccinelli said this: what I expect is disappointment. He's talking about the leadership, Republican leadership in the House and the Senate. It would be nice if the leadership had any interest or any will to fulfill the very limited campaign promises that all their people were running on. What would you say to him?
Well, as somebody who took over a Republican majority, had to work with the Democrat governor in North Carolina, I've had to take those shots before. But if you take a look at what we did in North Carolina over the last 4 years, it was extraordinary. And conservatives agree that we did great things. We need to have patience and we need to have confidence in our leaders here and not start taking shots before we even get sworn in. I think we're going to do a lot of great things, and I'm ready to stand behind the leadership and fulfill the promises that I made to the people in North Carolina. I'm convinced we're going to do it.
Wow. I asked this question to Byron York a moment ago. Are you optimistic this will be a more productive Congress? Yes or no?
Absolutely. Yes.
Thom Tillis, thank you, sir. From North Carolina, the swearing in is tomorrow around noon, we do believe, so we'll be watching it from here. Thank you, sir. We'll speak again very soon.
Thank you.
All right, Martha.